Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Casey. Today we're continuing Brand Spotlight, my mini-series where we feature different fashion brands and talk about their origin story, their mission, what they became known for, and the real reasons they either stayed successful, changed direction, or slowly disappeared from the market. For this episode, we're stepping into a different kind of fashion power. Not the kind built on being a daily default, but the kind built on status, symbolism, and desire. Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton is one of those names that people recognize instantly, even from a distance. And what's interesting is that it did not begin as a fashion brand in the modern sense. It began as a solution to a very specific problem, travel. Louis Vuitton's story starts long before the monogram became a symbol. In 1837, a teenage Louis Vuitton arrived in Paris and began apprenticing as a trunk maker and packer, at a time when travel was rough on luggage and craftsmanship mattered. In 1854, he opened his own workshop in Paris, officially establishing the house. Then came one of the most important product decisions in the brand's history. In 1858, Vuitton introduced flat-topped trunks. That might sound small, but it changed everything. Flat trunks could be stacked, shipped, and transported more efficiently, and they quickly became the modern standard that others copied. By 1859, the house expanded to Agnières-sur-Seine, a place that Louis Vuitton still points to as the heart of its legacy, where craftsmanship and innovation are passed down through generations. So from the beginning, Louis Vuitton was built on three things: utility, craftsmanship, and the idea that travel is a lifestyle worth designing for. That original purpose also explains the mission that sits behind the brand today. Louis Vuitton has always framed itself around heritage and savoir-faire, but what keeps it modern is the way it consistently ties that craft to culture. It's not just, we make beautiful things. It's, we make beautiful things that represent a world. That world is travel, artistry, and a very specific kind of luxury identity built over time. Now, what did Louis Vuitton become known for? If you strip it down, there are a few signatures that carry the entire brand. First, the trunk. The trunk is the origin, and it still shapes the brand's language today, from the way it talks about travel to the way it builds hard-sided pieces that reference those early designs. Second, the patterns, especially the ones created to protect the brand from imitation. Louis Vuitton's official history credits the Damier canvas to Louis Vuitton and Georges Vuitton in 1888, and it remains one of the house's iconic visual codes. Then in 1896, Georges Vuitton created the monogram, describing it as a way to protect the integrity of Vuitton's trunks while also expressing the house's identity. That monogram became one of the most recognizable symbols in fashion. That right there is a major reason Louis Vuitton succeeded. The brand didn't just make products, it created a visual language that could travel across decades and still be understood instantly. But Louis Vuitton didn't stay only as luggage. A major shift came in 1997, when the house appointed Marc Jacobs as artistic director of the women's and men's collections to expand into ready-to-wear and accessories. Louis Vuitton's own timeline credits this era with revitalizing the house through major shows and artist collaborations. This is where Louis Vuitton becomes what we recognize today, a luxury house that sits at the intersection of heritage and pop culture, craftsmanship and hype, tradition and reinvention. So, what made Louis Vuitton succeed on the level it has? First, it built a foundation product that was genuinely functional and respected. That early trunk-making legacy gave the brand credibility before the fashion world even looked like it does now. Second, it created brand codes that could survive any trend cycle. Damier, monogram, travel references, those codes are flexible, but they are never unclear. Third, it mastered culture as strategy. The Jacobs era formalized a path that the brand still uses: collaborations, artistic crossovers, and collections that keep Louis Vuitton in conversation even when you are not actively shopping. Fourth, it scaled within the structure of a luxury empire. In 1987, Louis Vuitton merged with Moet Hennessy to create LVMH, which reshaped the luxury industry and gave Louis Vuitton a powerful global platform. And fifth, it consistently treated creative direction like a headline. In women's wear, Nicolas Ghesquière has been artistic director of the women's collections since 2013, and Louis Vuitton positions him as embodying the house's visionary spirit. In menswear, the brand has also turned leadership into a cultural moment, from appointing Virgil Abloh in 2018 to welcoming Pharrell Williams as men's creative director in 2023. All of that answers the next question in Brand Spotlight. Are they still around, and why? Louis Vuitton is not just still around, it's a blueprint. It stays powerful because it sits in a rare position where heritage and hype are not opposites. They work together. The house can release something rooted in trunk-making history, then turn around and make it feel current through modern collaborations, runway storytelling, and creative leadership that keeps the brand in the cultural feed. At the same time, a brand this large always has pressures. One is imitation. The house has openly framed some of its most famous codes, like the Monogram, as a response to protecting integrity as popularity grew. When you become that recognizable, you become one of the most copied. Another is balancing scale with exclusivity. Louis Vuitton has to feel widely desired without feeling too easy. That tension is basically the luxury game at this level. But the bigger takeaway is clear. Louis Vuitton did not become Louis Vuitton by accident. It built a craft foundation, created codes that people recognize instantly, then turned creative direction and cultural presence into a long-term business strategy. It is not just selling bags or clothes, it is selling membership in a story that has been refined for more than a century. And that's why Louis Vuitton fits perfectly into this series. It shows how a brand can manufacture desire at a global scale, while still anchoring itself to heritage and craftsmanship. In the next Brand Spotlight, we can take this idea even further and look at a house that plays a tighter game, where access and scarcity are part of the brand's identity, not just the price tag. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.